Hello, everyone. Welcome to the finale episode of Persona 5 Royal, the game I played in the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. I finished in February. It is now mid April. To be totally honest, I feel like I should have recorded this as soon as I finished the game. So I have like a fresh memory on everything. So full transparency, there's things I forgot. Just to let you know, since I beat this game in February, I have completed Super Mario 64, Mega Man X, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and got into those worlds and those characters and that. So it's like I had to kind of re check out some of my VODs and all that. So yeah. And as usual, I never script anything, so I'm just going to go off the top of my head. But I have a little bit of a format I'm going to do here. And I'm gonna just kind of do like some rankings, tell you my favorite songs, stuff I didn't like, all that good stuff, and then at the end I'll kind of give you like my final review, which who knows how in depth that's gonna be. So let's get started. Before I get started, I would just like to mention that, of course, these are my opinions. One thing I've noticed as I've been into this Persona world is that the fan base can get quite rowdy, which it's kind of like a plus and a negative. I do like that this game is kind of tailored to however you play. This is a very your own experience kind of game, but that also comes with people just like berating others or berating characters. Everyone's going to play different. Everyone's going to attach themselves to different parts of the game. This is not this. It's a universally loved game for that reason. So yeah, I don't want to see any tomfoolery. You can have your opinions, but just don't be dumb about it. A brief history on how I even got into Persona, in case you didn't know, just very quickly. Very early on in my main channel, Jesse's Auditorium, people, when people found out that I was listening to video game music for a living, immediately, Persona, 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 Persona. The request came in, and if you notice, the very first one I did was Wake Up, Get Out There. And if you notice, every episode I always thank the requester. That time, I was like, thanks to everybody that requested it. Because it was just overwhelming. It wasn't a single person, it was just overwhelming amount of people. And I still remember that day. I remember talking about it had like this breakdancing kind of feel to it, that song specifically. And it was cool. I met a lot of new people, probably some of you. And since then, I've just been hearing it year by year, year by year, all the personas. But Persona 5 was always like this, like returning home for me because it was the first experience with Persona, with Atlas. My first experience with Atlas was that song. And then fast forward to the end of 2025, on my birthday, I actually, which we're going to talk about my birthday later too, because it's a significant event in game. But on my birthday, I hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I was like, well, that's something. Let me reward, the one of the most consistent fan bases I've had, and that's Persona 5. Every time I uploaded Persona 5, there was just a whole bunch of people that watched it. So I was like, let's play it. I always said I wasn't going to play it. They were too long. I thought they were like kind of romancing games. I just had the wrong idea. Well, I'm glad I did because it's one of the best games I ever played. So we'll talk more about that later. Just wanted to get that out there. That's the little story, and yeah, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of my opinions here because I'm very outspoken on some of these subjects in this game, and you're gonna hear about them. But we'll start with the easy stuff, which is the rankings. And again, it's been 2 months, so sorry if I don't get like super in depth. But we're going to start with what should I start with? Let's start with the characters. Let's go. All right, so we're gonna talk about each one here and what they mean. By the way, I know this is cut off right here. It says from top to bottom, its favorite characters, great, good, not for me, and no opinion, didn't spend time with. Of course, my first playthrough, I didn't get to experience everything. Unfortunately, I wish I could have. So this is all based on what I saw and what you saw recorded in my playthrough. I'm sure some of these can be shifted around on second playthroughs, like some of you may have done. And I may not remember everyone's name here. I'll try. So I wanted to keep this as organic as possible. Like, yeah, it's been 2 months. So this is kind of like a mixture of, you know, a lot of the factors go into it. Their personality, their if they're playable, their confidant. It's kind of there's so many ways I could have ranked stuff, and not everyone is here too. So yeah, I just had to pick like the kind of significant ones. So start at the bottom with no opinion. Didn't spend time with. Um, First girl, I don't even remember her name. I just know she was like this kind of jealous girl in on story. Whatever. I don't know. I don't like jealous people. Well, not jealous people, but also I don't like bully type characters, and she kind of was that. Wakaba. Um, Man, this is I just noticed I'm opening a can of worms here because a lot of stuff that I'm going to say here, people are not going to agree with. Which is fine. It's fine. But I just noticed with Persona, some people hold these opinions like near and dear to their heart. Um, I mean, she was a plot plot device. She was a boss character, which we'll talk about later. Oh, by the way, we're going to be ranking characters, palaces, and bosses. I'm not going to rank my favorite songs, but I'll tell you my favorite songs. So yeah, so this isn't counting bosses. This is just like the characters we meet. It's complicated. Uh, Wakaba was she was just kind of there, helped the story of Futaba, and that's pretty much it. I really have like no opinion. Again, these are like no opinion, so I'm not gonna like say much about it. These two teacher characters, I don't even know their name. Whatever. I know the one in the pink had more of a story because of Kawakami. I had to look that up. Also, the confidant right next to her, the mayor guy. I've heard good things about him. He's a really cool guy. I just didn't spend time with him, and unfortunately, I didn't know that he's one of the few that like you can miss out on. After a certain time. I forgot what time. He's just not available anymore. And I need to remind you guys that I had no help with this, and I wanted it that way. Everything you saw in Persona 5 outside of Maruki was my own decision. Everything was my organic choice, except a little later on in the game, admittedly. I made some better choices for like getting the confidant rank. That was like in the last few episodes, but I mean for the most part, the entire like 90% of the game, everything was organic. So yeah, I didn't spend enough time with him. He seemed like a nice guy. I just don't know what he was about. The guy right next to him, I have no idea who that is. He's just there, so I put him there. Please remind me who that is. Is he one of Shido's lackeys? I don't know. Now you'll notice a pattern in the yellow tier right here, the not for me tier, and it's mostly the boss characters, right? That's a good thing. This game has incredible writing. I was surprised just how good the writing was in every aspect. I think that if you dislike a character, like a bad character, then the writers did their job. You know, People have to remember there's like balance to everything. There's good, bad. There's gray areas even, and this game explores a lot of gray areas. So for me, not liking these people, that's good. So I'm looking at the tier again. It's called not for me. It's kind of like a weird way to put it, but like Okumura, obviously, it's just he's this kind of obsessed, power hungry dad, kind of a loser, and that's that. There's Kaneshiro, he's a weird character. Kind of the more traditional bad guy, wants money. It's everyone. Madarame is very interesting because of his I don't know. I've heard a lot of split decisions on Madarame, but basically they all come off as unlikable. They're doing bad things. You got an overworker. You have a mob member, basically. You have a thief, plagiarist. It's just despicable people. But one thing about Persona 5 that I really enjoyed is that all the palaces you visit, they're not all evil people. Almost, in fact, only just barely more than half are. So that's kind of, you don't. I wasn't really thinking about that during the game, but after, I was like, oh yeah, you only visit like four bad people's palaces. Then there's that one guy who was Shido's like puppet. I don't even know his name, but he also very well written. A little cliche now looking back. He was like, yeah, everything's going to plan. He's just whatever. That guy next to him, the was that Okamura's son? No, sorry, no, that was Okamura's. I hated that character. I don't even know if he ever got a name, and I kind of wanted to beat his ass. I know he was like in a boss fight for a little while, and I think that was one of those unanswered questions for me. It was like, who was his dad? I don't think it was really meant to be known. It was more like hey, he's a important friend of Okamura and whatever. I hated that dude, and I still don't know his name. Kingpin, aka the principal, complete loser, and got what was coming to him. I gotta say, dude, you may not like what I say about some of these people, but I totally was satisfied with a lot of people just, not being there anymore. I am not one of these people that believe in like, every life is fair, that kind of thing. I truly believe that some people just don't really deserve to be here, especially when they continuously show patterns and disregard for other humans. So, yeah, I don't care what happens to them, and if it's something bad, then great. I know people would disagree with me on that, but look at the way the world is right now, and yeah, a lot of us are just kind of tired of how shit goes. Jose, kind of a weird character. For the longest time, I thought there was a connection between him and Morgana. I thought that was like the real life Morgana or something. I'm aware that he had a boss fight. I didn't do that. Same with the, oh god, who was it? Was it the twins or either way? I know there was like extra fights. I didn't do them. But yeah, Josie's kind of, I don't know. The only way I can describe him, he's just weird. He's a weird character. He's funny. But yeah, after 2 months, I'm trying to remember like what he even was about. Collecting the flowers. Yeah, I don't know. The teacher right next to him, he is slightly above the no opinion because he is an asshole. That to me, I don't know if that's just like common in Japan or whatever, but like personally, like if that happened to me or if I saw that happening, I would do something about it. Like what that teacher was doing was quite literally abuse, physically abusing kids, even if it's throwing chalk. Fuck that guy. Yeah, if I saw that happening, I would make sure like something gets done. And yeah, it's kind of interesting, how a video game can portray such an evil act as like a joke. It's kind of funny, and it is, but it's just like, I don't like you. Human Morgana is one of the worst things I've ever seen. I just felt so uncomfortable with that. I get it, and I'm so glad it lasted like 2 seconds, but it was just so uncomfortable how strange he was. I was really hoping, like, it was one thing for Morgana to like thirst over on the whole time. Like, yeah, it's like it's almost cute in a way, I almost saw like how like every like young man has like this kind of like fantasy like that, but it's just seeing it like almost happen was like, okay, that's weird. And his eyes were like way too blue. Yeah, I just was just not about it. I'm glad it lasted like 10 seconds. That's pretty much where the like negatives kind of are for me. As far as good, Futaba, I like her story. Now, okay, you guys really need to. I need to hammer this into your guys' head. Good is already good. Don't think this is like bad junior, bad and like great. It's good. Like these are already good. Everything from here on out is all positive. but they're good because they're kind of like, well, they're not great and they're not my favorite. So this is going to be now where I start getting into the territory of like where I'm going to be talking about people's favorite characters, and we're going to have differing opinions. Futaba is, this was a combination of, this is going to sound kind of like messed up, but I don't really, I don't want to say I don't like kids, but I kind of see it in like in real life. If I knew someone like that in real life, I'd be very annoyed with them because I'm in my 30s. If I knew someone that was, I don't even know how old she supposed to be, 15, 16, whatever, I would be annoyed of them because I know how annoying I was at that age. I would have nothing in common with them. I'd just be like, ugh, you know, like they're just, obviously they don't know better, but that's kind of one of the reasons she's like a little lower. Also, she's not playable. I wasn't a big fan of just like the sporadic, random help. It's like, okay, you know, every time she helped, I was like, where were you earlier? But anything other than that, I thought she was cool. I like her design. The headphones is cool. I feel bad for her. She's one of the most unique palaces because of the whole she's not evil, but you're changing her heart. I thought that was really, really something. Yeah, it's like I said, very good. Just not great to me. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say about Futaba. She's funny. She's super funny. She made me laugh a lot. I liked her and Morgana's kind of relationship. That was really cool. I like Futaba, just not as much as other people. Joker. Joker is the same way I felt about the Nahubino, or the main protagonist of Shin Megami Tensei. I guess that's just an Atlas thing, and if that is true, then I'm pretty much always going to feel that way. If it's just a reoccurring thing where it's like the character's a blank slate, then I almost kind of don't care because it's all the player. It's the player's decisions. Although you can say the story of Joker's, like how he got there was interesting. You know, the whole like defending a girl and gets sued, and then that's how the whole journey begins. Yeah, sure, but after that, it's a blank slate. So it's like, okay, yeah, you know, if me calling him good, does that mean I'm calling my playthrough good? I don't know. So let me know what you guys think about Joker, because I don't know. It's very hard for me to think about silent protagonists where you decide everything, because it's basically just you. I don't know. His design is cool. I'll give him that. I like the trench coat. But yeah, no real opinion on Joker. We have On's friend, who I felt horrible for. God, I'm trying to remember her name. Starts with an S. Sui? Oh God, I'm gonna forget. Sorry. One of the like most realist moments in the game, and I really felt for On during this. It showed a lot of the true colors of the school, the way they handled her. Not much else to say. I just really think she is a great part of the story, because she is there at the beginning, and then like you know talk to her later, and it's like a kind of a I'm not sure if it was a choice or not, if it's like a happy ending, but for me it was a happy ending. Maruki. Whew. Damn, dude. Thinking about doing this, like it's surreal doing it now, you know, because I'm just like trying to, I don't know. I knew this day was gonna come when I was gonna have to talk about all these, but now that it's here, I'm like, damn, what do I say? Because everything is so in depth. I really want to, you know, give the writers and developers, like, they fleshed everything out, his backstory, why he wanted to do this. This is kind of talking about the game itself. I'm gonna try to talk about just him as a character before I talk about the game. But just him as a character, oh man, it's He's good. Don't get me wrong. Um, Rest in peace to his voice actor. Did an amazing job. Which, by the way, really did an amazing job because he does come off similar to his story as this sort of like, how do you feel about him? And that's why it's hard to kind of talk about him. He's like this neutral space where you can consider him kind of. I've heard people call him annoying, boring, daydreamer, and then some people calling him like savior, a friend. It's weird, right? Like it's weird because that's how I feel right now. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about him. He's very well written, but he is probably like top three most important characters in the game. I can. By the way, I should have said this. I played Royal. I think you guys know that by now, but in case you didn't know, I played Royal, so everything I'm talking about is Royal related. I did not play Base 5. You know, I did not have Wake Up, Get Out There as my theme. I never even heard of the song Phantom in the game. That's P5 only. So Maruki is, I like what he was doing, you know, like listening to students. I wish I had something like that in school. I don't know why we don't, but we'll talk about him more later. The kid that gets smoked. I didn't get to finish his story. I think it was like I had just a couple left, maybe like two more hangouts with him. So I don't know what exactly happened. That's another thing too, is I don't know the conclusion of everyone's confidant story. So it's exciting for another second playthrough. But I liked where it was going. It was probably going to be a happy ending, most likely. But who knows, really? Not much. He was cool. He was funny. He's just a little kid, and he likes video games. He's just. I thought that was his story was relatable with his mom, and yeah, I'm trying to remember everyone's name. Mishima. Damn. I think talking about the good row is going to be the hardest. Mishima is like, well, let's start at the beginning. He was an abused young man, so that's never cool. I could see why he was so driven to help us. But the way he went about it too was very forceful. He just kind of like, no, I know it's you guys, and I'm going to help you, which, you know, I guess. But I don't know. It felt like we never really like agreed on it. We were just like, oh, okay, in order to keep our secret safe or something. I did like that he had kind of he had a story arc where it seemed like he was gonna go rogue on us or maybe even tell on us. It seemed like he wasn't getting his due diligence, but he kind of came around and yeah, I guess. So I don't know. He's weird. He's weird. He's good though. Oya. You know, I've heard some strange takes on Oya that a lot of people consider her annoying or silly. I'm like, I know a couple of Oyas in real life. Like she seemed like the most normal human being, like the most realistic human being. I don't know if that's because I'm in my 30s or if it's just like, I don't know. Like if anyone here is my age and has ever had a job, you know a coworker like her. You know, she's just like a normal person. I never really saw her as like an alcoholic or something, even though yeah, she hangs out at a bar. She never came off to me as like slurring or being like obnoxious. She was getting like, you know, manipulated behind the scenes, so I kind of fell for her. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind Oya. She was just like a normal everyday coworker person. Igor, I don't know how I feel about Igor, to be honest, because my first impression of Igor was a distorted one. I've come to find out that Igor is a notable character in the series. This is not his debut. He's been in other ones, so it's kind of hard to say because my debut of him was his being taken over, And by the time the game was basically over, I got to meet the real him. So I don't know. I don't know. I actually should put him in like no opinion because you barely ever talk to him in Persona 5. Yeah, I don't know. Igor's weird. What's her name? Hifumi? I heard in Rumorville that she was supposed to be a playable character, but they kind of ran out of time. I can kind of see that. You know, I don't know. I can kind of see that, especially with her moveset. But man, I really wish. I wish this was the one time someone told me something. I don't regret anything, you know. But I really wish that she actually changes the game mechanically. That's a big deal, dude. That means there's people out there. There's probably hundreds of thousands of people out there that have never spoken to her or have gotten to her confidant level where you can swap members. That's like such a big deal. That changes the game so much, you know, because you don't. To me, it seemed like the game was like, I don't know. It just felt like 70% story and like 30% fighting and action stuff, which I didn't mind. But it would have made it that much more fun if I had that option early on. So, Persona 5 is very interesting because when I see people play it, it's like there's a part of you, and I know you guys felt this way too. You want to tell the person, hey, I know you want to experience it for yourself, but also, you know, this is, but it's like at the end of the day, it's their experience. So, but I did wish I knew that because now knowing that, like if I ever play Persona 5 again, she's gonna be the first one I get my confident level 10 to. Haru. You know, I actually really, really like Haru. She is in good tier solely because she comes in too late. And I didn't get to spend enough time with her. I like her story a lot. I really like her voice. I like her aesthetic. Very prim and proper, a lot of manners. But I just didn't spend enough time with her. You know, it's like in order to get the most out of Haru, you have to immediately hang out with her as soon as she's available. And you know, with that, by the time she's in the game, I already had prior commitments, and I was just like, you know, I'll try. She's really good with the whole like vegetable thing, but yeah, I thought she was great. I love her persona, everything. So next time for sure. See, the one thing I like about Persona 5 is like, as you're finishing your first playthrough, I think a lot of us were already planning our second playthrough, how we're gonna do things differently. You know, whether that's confidants, romancing, whatever the case may be. Or for example, like I used to always procrastinate and do the palaces at the last day. Maybe next time I'll do them all at the beginning. You know, just to change it up. So yeah, Haru is very, very cool, but unfortunately just comes in just a little too late. And also kind of sucked that her palace was not entirely focused on her. It was the whole Morgana thing too. So it was kind of like half. Yeah, I don't know. Yusuke. Yusuke isn't good because he brings this dynamic of like awkward and funny and awkwardly funny. No frills. Like I don't even know if he understands sarcasm, but he is all about character development because he comes off really weird. At the beginning, he is like I don't know if it's just socially acceptable or whatever, but at the beginning, imagine if that happened to you. Some guy just comes up to you and starts like following you around. He's like, "I need to paint you." And you're like, "Get the hell out of here! What the heck?" And then the whole like, yeah, he's. But I mean, he was jaded and he had a lot going on. I get it, right? There's a reason everyone is the way they are, and you have to remember these are all kids. You know, 18, 19, whatever. What were you like at 18, 19? You were an idiot. You didn't know anything. So, and that's such an impressionable age too. You don't you haven't grown yet. Yeah. So I mean, I don't hold those things against him. I just I like his character. I like his outfit. His persona's cool. It's just I don't know. He just in a game where all the other party members are like so great. I didn't. It didn't feel right for me to call them all great. Um, I just think the cast is so strong that he kind of just has to go down here by default. I would probably put Haru in great if I spent more time with her, to be honest. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say sorry to Yusuke lovers because I still think he's good. If you noticed, one important thing in my playthroughs is that I'm glad to the people that stick around because I'm a normal human being to an extent, and my opinions change. Things happen, you know. My first impression with something may not stick. I think that's normal because early on, like the first episode, the first two episodes, people were already judging me on who I said I liked or didn't like in Persona. I'm like, dude, let me finish the game. I had weird comments, dude. Like I said, I had weird comments. Like, I don't like that you don't think of this character the way. Basically, this is what they said. I don't like that you don't like them the way I do, and it's making me think of you as like a totally different person. I'm like, that says everything about you and not me. Like, you have issues at that point. I think that not only character growth is important, but the player. I liked Yusuke by the end. I've said it multiple times. I'm like, Yusuke is funny. He's cool. I'm gonna miss him. I miss his style, his swagger, his voice. So again, I just really, really want to say that don't compare the good to the great. It's just something has to be not. They're not all great. If I really doubt people would want me to say that every character is great in Persona 5, then that would be boring. This game is very, very polarizing. So, and it's unlike anything I've ever played where I have this much. There's so many people to talk about. You know what I mean? So, anyways, yeah. Sojiro, very good. I always knew he was kind of like this teddy bear kind of character where he's got like this deep, like sweetness, but he kind of like, I don't know, he's an old man. The only thing I kind of didn't understand is they kind of glossed over it and it kind of bugged me. But the beginning of the story where he takes in Joker, like how did that even happen? They mentioned once he's like, I think they said something about he's a friend of Joker's parents or something, and then they just never spoke about it again. It just felt kind of weird to me. I don't know. It felt like, how did he end up here in this cafe? But other than that, I think he's a really good father to Futaba. I don't know. I liked him. He was cool. And apparently he makes great curry and great coffee. Shout out Sojiro. Kamoshida in good. You might be wondering why. Kamoshida arguably is one of the worst characters in the entire game. Maybe the worst, depending on who you ask. And I really do mean that, depending on who you ask, because you have to remember, everyone who's played this game has a different backstory than you, and may have gone through certain things. Maybe there's people here that have been sexually harassed by their teachers or their bosses or something. I feel for them. That's So my whole thing with Kamoshida was like, the reason he's in good is because they did a good job on you hating him. And he's the first one. So my very first experience with Persona is in my first hour of gameplay. I'm like, ooh, cool. I'm in this casino, yeah, whatever. And then boom, we have this sexually assaulting, egotistical maniac as a teacher. So my attention was grabbed right away. I hate people like this. People like this exist among us all the time. And it's scary. They abuse their power. They peaked in high school and then never grew up, quite literally, so much so that he stayed working there. We all know someone close to this or it's not too far from reality. And I think that's why it's like such a good job of... I'm putting him in good because he's such a great villain. You hate this dude. Great character, boss design, by the way, but that's separate. I definitely wanted him gone. I didn't think jail was enough. This is one of those instances where, regardless of how you feel about the justice system, like it's controversial to say like, no, he should be just be like executed. Really, you know, it's one of those things where people will say like, no, no, like everyone deserves a chance until it happens to you or someone you know. Then all of a sudden, no, screw him. And that's what I hate about like the hypocrisy of the world. And this game kind of exposed that in some people. I hate that shit. It's something that just always bugged me. Like that everyone is susceptible to redemption. No, so people just never change and they're just assholes for the rest of their lives. We live in a world where we constantly reward shitty behavior. There's no accountability taken. People just say whatever they want, and there's not a lot of repercussions. So I don't like hearing stuff like, oh, he can be rehabilitated or something. But they wouldn't say those things if it happened to you or someone you know or something, right? Whatever that saying is, not for me, but for thee or whatever you know what I'm saying? And that always pisses me off. So, yeah, that's why he's in good. I feel really strongly about this kind of stuff. And that's why Persona got me right away. Not the gameplay, not the turn-based, not the shooting, which was new. It was the gripping, like, oh, this is I didn't even know the game was M-rated for the longest time. I knew SMT5 was, but I didn't know this game was. And I was like, oh, they're touching on real shit. Like, this is, And Kamoshida's entrance is so strong that it's like, it's a very easy thing for me to sell someone on this game or to like have them play it, and I'll say something like, just play the first hour, and don't look up anything, and honestly, it'll probably get him hooked. Watch anyone play this game, and they'll have an immediate opinion on Kamoshida, and to me, that's excellent writing. He's a horrendous person, but an amazing first antagonist, and damn, did they do such a good job of hating that mother effer. So I had to put him in good for that. He's a standout. For sure. He's a standout. Main boss. Well, no, kind of. I guess if you played... Well, to be honest, I don't even know how... we didn't even... Oh, sorry, I had a background talking this whole time. I don't even know how I had a stream playing in the background. I don't know if you heard any of that, but I didn't play base game, so I don't really truly know how it ends. I'm pretty sure I saw all the endings, but I don't remember at this exact moment. I don't know if it ends with the whole like Morgana scene or what have you. But basically, he's the last. Actually, no. Sorry, my memory is a little shaky. He's not the last boss. Jaldabaoth is. Either way, he's the main evil guy, right? He's the main. Actually, I'll say that he's the main evil guy who's solely out for pure evil. And again, they just did a good job. He's very unlikable from the start, quite literally. You see him do just heinous acts right away. Unexcusable, shitty things. And what's worse than that is, oh, he's a politician. He has power. Oh no, that can't be good, because then it trickles down. And it sets up the story very nicely, because at first it sounds like he's talking out of his ass. He's like, do you know who I am? But then you find out he was serious about that. And it's just like, oh, man. So, yeah, he's a great character. I think he doesn't show up too often, which I think is kind of cool, right? Shows up at the beginning, doesn't constantly, like, hound the characters. He kind of leaves like little hints here and there to make it seem like, wait, is that gonna be the last guy? Everything starts to slowly connect. That, oh wait, he's the root of it all. So I kind of like that. It wasn't just like he was, you know, Mr. Obvious right away. At least for me, it wasn't. So yeah, that's the good. Going into the great tier, we have Shiaya. Basically, she's in great because I thought she was really funny, and I thought it was kind of neat that the whole game has like a little undertone of the Arcana, and she's, a fortune teller, but also she has great confidant abilities, and yeah, I don't know. I felt like she was just kind of underutilized. I don't know. I felt like she would have been a cool character as well. There's just something about her that made me just happy to see her. That's pretty much it. Takemi, I'll keep it brief. I think I missed my chance at romancing her. I would have otherwise. Great character, great design, cool outfit, great song, some of the best items. She's a sweetheart. I like her story. And I like that there's like a little Easter egg at the very beginning of the game. You can see her walk right past Joker. Right when he gets to the hometown, she walks right next to him. Thought that was very cool. And yeah, she's great. I loved spending time with her a lot. I think she's one of the cooler confidants. One half of the Nijima sisters. Sai is very interesting. Basically, he's prosecuting you the whole time. I do like that she seems sort of like, I don't know if unobtainable is the right word, but she seems out of grasp of the story. She seems like somewhere in a different realm almost. But it's cool that eventually the timeline catches up and that she's right there with you. And it's nice seeing her like at LeBlanc or something. And you're like, oh, hey, that's, her. I liked her dynamic with Akechi as well. I really like the sisters, and you kind of feel for them. They lost her dad, and you can tell that they love him. And she's the inspiration to Makoto. Although one thing that is kind of confusing about her is like the art makes her look confusing. They gave her gray hair, but she looks like she's like 25. So I don't know. I don't know what she's supposed to be. I'm guessing like 30 or something. But yeah, Sai's cool. We'll talk about more of her later. Kawakami, to me, a very misunderstood character. I think she has her head in the right place. She's struggling. A lot of relatability here. Has to have 2 jobs just to make it. She's kind of open to hearing about like Joker's problems. She's not like your traditional kind of crappy teacher who, not every teacher is like this, but kind of like these bottom ones where the teachers are just kind of like just there for a paycheck. It seems like Kawakami is a little more understanding, and I don't know. I've always felt like this kind of warm presence about her. Even at the beginning of the game, I felt like she was going to be not a friend per se, but I thought she just had a different feel than the rest. Everyone seems so like against Joker, and while they were like bad mouthing him for being this kind of rebel new student, she didn't partake as much. She was more like, we gotta one of these students now, but she didn't like play into it super hard. So I don't know. She was cool. I liked her. EY, I really like his story a lot with his son. Another amazing soundtrack. His shop is great. The whole Yakuza storyline is very cool. I don't know. He was so mysterious. I thought he was going to be, because he comes off as so aggressive, but he's like really just a sweet dude, I do love the humanity of EY and the whole storytelling with Joker, his son, and him. And I don't know, he's just really cool. It's I thought I was gonna have more to say about these upper tiers, but they really just come down to I really liked them. That's it. It's not like this huge. It's just how my energy pulls towards them. Like I was really like, it all comes down to attraction, not like physical like or anything, but it's like I was like attracted to these characters. They spoke to me in different ways, and I just all went with my gut instincts. Makoto, the other half. Makoto was interesting because I didn't think she was going to be a party member. Um, for those that may or may not know, I went into this completely blind. I ignored everything from the past that I've ever seen. So I didn't know who was going to join us. Sometimes it felt like it was kind of obvious, like maybe On. I was like, yeah, On's going to join, probably. But Makoto, mm-mm. Makoto, I thought she was going to be kind of like a nuisance. Not a bully, but kind of like a know-it-all. Which I guess, based on her position at school, following the footsteps of both her dad and Sai. Yeah, you can kind of see that, right? She comes off as this sort of like, another misunderstood character because her whole thing is her shedding that skin of being this kind of person that people think she is when that's why she looks so rebellious in her persona or her awakening, the mask, the motorcycle, like the chains. It's all just so like, and not only that, she's fighting like hand to hand and carries a desert eagle. You know, none of those things I would ever associate. Like, for example, like if you told me, like, say you spoiled it to me early, like, by the way, Makoto's going to join you. Like, now let me rephrase this. Let's say I started playing for the first 2 hours, and then someone's like, hey, Makoto's going to join. Or whatever, early on, I'd be like, huh? I would never, ever, ever suspect that she would be, martial arts, motorcycle, and a Desert Eagle, right? It's like, what? Well, not Desert. Sorry. It's a revolver. It's a revolver. My bad. It's it's a 6-shooter. So that's like, oh, so she's got this cool personality trait of, I don't want to be seen like that anymore, but she's still responsible. Like, she's not like she shed that completely, you know? It's like when it's time for business, she gets down to business. She becomes like the brains of the operations. She's smart. She's very nice. She's very sweet. And I don't know. I think she's kind of like, I was going to say universally liked, but everyone's so different. But I don't know. I just felt like to me she was just so charming and nice. Probably one of the few. I'm not going to consider romancing in any part of these tiers at all, but I will say, because I'll save the romancing talk. I'm going to talk about romancing in later, but I will say that two of the most like organic possibilities of like a romancing for Joker to me would have been Makoto and Yoshizawa. Sorry, I really did forget a lot of these names. You have to remember I played 3 games over hundreds of hours. Yoshizawa and Makoto were like the most, realistic ones. Makoto was cool. And her awakening was amazing. I think On is like one of the best characters in RPGs that I've played. She's so, I don't know, she just has so many positive traits, I think. She's funny. She stands her ground. She is strong for a reason, right? She has the wrong idea about her. Whereas Makoto, people know that she's kind of this like, higher authority character. People think of On as like something else. Someone they talk down to, or kind of like the, bad tropes, especially with the whole Kamoshida thing. But she's not like that at all. She's a good friend, and she has like all this drive, and she's very passionate. I just love everything about On. I think she's hilarious too, and she just seems like one of the most like caring characters in any JRPG I've ever played. I really wouldn't mind like she is one of those characters that I could see having kind of her own spin-off. She's just that kind of character to me. She's a bit of a standout. So Yoshizawa, I'll just call her Yoshizawa. This is a character that I have always liked from the beginning because she comes off as this. I mean, if I met a Yoshizawa like that in real life, that would be great. Someone who's just so caring and listening, listens to you. She was always, she just seemed so interested in what you had to say. And as someone who's like, I don't really have that anymore. I just have people that listen to me, and it's more like content creator audience. I don't have like a friend or anyone like Kasumi anymore. It's kind of a rare thing to have someone like Yoshizawa, and I don't know. It just felt really nice to have that, even in video game form. Like, dude, this is such a cool, nice, sweet person. Now, when the whole storyline developed and she was this whole gymnast thing, then she became super awesome because now her idol poses are her like, doing gymnast stretches. The way she fights becomes way elegant, and she shows all of her strength and abilities in her fighting, and that was really, really, really cool. So, of course, everything applies to like I should have said on her fighting style. Her suit looks cool. The cat thing, the whip, the machine guns. It's all cool, man. I did not account for their personas, but yeah, that's the great tier. My favorite characters in Persona 5, Royal. I'm gonna just go through these quickly because I constantly praise them the whole game except for one. Ryuji Sakamoto. I love this style of character where they're just like your friend from the beginning. Always there, always had your back. Reminds me of a couple of characters from Xenoblade, which I won't mention. And I love those characters. They're some of my favorites. He's quirky, he's dumb, he's loudmouthed, he's like an adorable moron, but he's also very grounded, talented, and had one of the most emotional scenes for me with the rivers in the desert section. But he was always true to himself. He's always hilarious. Of course, the whole for real thing. But to me, Ryuji was just like, he tells it how it is. It's not very common to have characters like Ryuji say the stuff he does in video games. He straight up would say to his teachers, Kamoshida, he was like, screw that asshole or something. Like, he would tell it like it is. And I love that. Like, I feel like people always kind of, beat around the bush or don't say it like it is. He just always was so up front with it, and I loved it for that. He was really cool, and he wasn't susceptible to, or he was susceptible also to having shitty friends, right? He had like the track team hating on him, and he had it bad, man. He had it bad. He got thrown under the bus and persevered. I love Ryuji. His voice actor killed it. Perfect. I knew he was gonna be cool the whole time, and I'm glad he never like turned on us or anything. I don't know. Ryuji's the best. Morgana is very controversial. Apparently, people just straight up don't like Morgana. I love Morgana. I thought Morgana was a perfect, what would you even call, not a balance, but like a counterpart to the party. It's a cat. It's a very, where the rest of the game feels kind of realistic, besides the palaces, you know what I mean? A lot of it seems like it could be possible in real life. Morgana definitely has like that fantasy cartoon part. It's a talking cat, and a hilarious one at that. Always witty. I love that he butted heads with Ryuji. I love that he just kind of had like his own thing with each character, right? He was like in love with An, seemed to respect Makoto, etc., etc. I don't know. He was kind of like the glue that kind of held it all together. I could see how people would think he's like annoying, but I guess to me, those people just don't really like sense of humor, or maybe they got tired of stuff like on second playthroughs. I don't know, but I always just found him like cute, adorable, funny. He's the healer at first. Zoro's cool. I don't know. I like Morgana. I thought it was always a highlight to have Morgana show up on screen and say something dumb like "Rawr," or it was cool. I loved the story of Morgana, and I was always worried the whole time like something bad better not happen to this damn character. So Yeah, I think Morgana's probably on many people's list, either at the top or at the bottom. But this is my list. I don't have Lavenza on this list. So I would say, just very, very quickly, Lavenza you can put in, I don't know, great or good, maybe great. Just really quick, Lavenza is very nice, but I think all my energy and descriptions are going to go to the twins, Justine and Caroline. I had so much fun hanging out with them. Any chance I could, I would hang out with them. They're so funny. They're the perfect kind of characters for a story like this, where similar to Morgana, it feels like kind of this fantasy part where it's not realistic. They kind of have this fourth wall break thing, like, oh, what are these burger stands or whatever? I don't know. Like, they just were so entertaining the whole time, and then you find out that they're quite important to the story. Um, they're just great. I love them. I love them. I loved hanging out with them. I wish there was more hangouts with them, but they were just one of the highlights. That's it. I loved the Wardens. My favorite character in Persona 5 Royal, Goro Akechi. I don't think anyone really saw this coming, unless you guys are fans and maybe you're waiting for the turnaround. But me and this character have had such a ride together. If you saw the first couple episodes where he was in, you probably thought I would hate him. So did I. Goro Akechi to me is like the definition of character development. Incredible voice acting. I mean, I could have said that about anyone here, honestly. The voice acting is great across the board. Seriously. Um, Makoto's voice I really enjoyed. And all of them, all of them, all of them. But Robbie Draymond, dude. For Akechi, just having that whole, like, cocky, sort of, like, arrogant voice at first to very, like, rival, jealous, to then going just psychotic. The Loki stages, but also when he becomes like what do you call it? Like a navigator, I think. When he starts helping you and he becomes more like, let's just get this shit done. I don't care anymore. Just that whole change is just wow. It's so well done. I think honestly, Akechi's voice performance might be my favorite vocal performance in any video game ever. It's that good. It's the raspiness, the way he really sounds like he's pissed, the way he sounds like he's just over it, or just when he's like, "I'll end them," stuff like that. Like he's just like, "Whoa, whoa, jeez, dude!" Like you feel it. Anyways, Goro Akechi. I don't want to go on forever and ever, but basically, he's so perfectly written. Like I don't know if he's inspired from any other game or any other character, but dude, he's just so. It's a perfect. Like I said earlier, like Joker's so bland because he's just whatever you decide. So while Joker's like a blank slate, Akechi is like the perfect counterbalance to that. Because they kind of they're rivals, they're like friends, but not. They're enemies at the same time. He really much helps Joker's case. And then the whole twist with who he is. I just loved every moment. Like as soon as stuff starts to snowball, like around I would say around Christmas time. No, around the casino palace, the catchy stuff really starts cranking up. Because you're like, oh no, but then you're like, oh wait, it's such a. I could go on forever, but basically, just the way he's written, the twists, the turns, everything was like I never suspected anything was gonna happen. Then he joined the party, which I never suspected was gonna happen, and then he joins the party again to someone else. Like, it's great, dude. I loved every part of his inclusion in the game. It made the story so much more interesting. I love the credit Easter egg with him, or sorry, not the credit, but the last scene. Man, I don't know. I when I was recording this video, like I said, it's sloppy. I'm sure you guys have noticed that, but it's been 2 months. The stuff I forgot. But I knew that was like Goro Akechi. That's just one of those things that stay with me forever. I love this character. And what's crazy is like you can't say anything about it unless other people have played Persona 5 and completed it. For example, right now I'm shout out Cyuni, Cyuni on Twitch. She's playing Persona 5 Royal for the first time. And she asked me who my favorite character was, and I didn't want to say anything. I was like, I kind of like Akechi. I didn't want to say too much. She's like, Akechi? I'm like, you'll understand. Because if you remember, dude, I had so many nicknames for him. I hated him. Sketchy Akechi. Argyle ass vest with his little fake smile, all these things. But little did I know, he's the shit. So, yeah, that's my tier list. I apped for a lot longer than I was going to, but that is my tier list of characters. Now we're going to talk about the palaces. So for palaces, honestly, I didn't think there was really any bad ones. This is just S and A. If you heard me through my playthrough, I was like, oh my God, look at this place. Or, ooh, like this is so cool. I always felt like I was a kid in a toy store in the palaces. I don't think there's a bad one. But I do think that there's some just a little better than others. But for the record, I do not think there's a bad palace in this whole game. I think a lot of them are on par with each other, and then just some that are cooler. So that says a lot. I guess I'll go in, because the bottom row isn't in order, by the way, and neither is the top. I like them all kind of equally in their tier. So I'll talk about. Let's try to go in order if I can remember. The castle is great. It's a great first impression. It's as a first-time Persona player, it's my first impression of this other world, my first impression of this other reality, and it's a castle. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That makes sense. It makes sense, right? A school, which is this huge building, can definitely be interpreted as a castle. Castle has these sections, these jail sections, and these wooden, it all makes sense. It's very cool how a classroom can be a jail cell and all that. So I liked it. And one of the best things about these palaces is that they all evolve. They have like a 2-phase section. So, for example, Kamoshida starts off as this like indoor palace with the red carpets and all that, chandeliers. And then towards the end, you're like outside climbing the tower. And that's kind of a thing that happens in, I think, everyone. I'm pretty sure all of them. So I loved it. I thought it was a great introduction. Castle of Love, right? So everything's like love themed and it's basically a pervert. But I thought it was great. I thought it was a good introduction to sneaking around, and yeah, very good. Great song. Oh, that's with everything too. We're not going to talk about songs yet. But after that is Maruramei's Museum. I really liked the museum. I don't think some people do, though. But then again, I could say that about anything in this game, because this game has opinions everywhere. I really like the museum. It starts outside, so that's kind of cool. You can kind of like get a little glimpse of this tiny area of, this almost like red carpet type event. And then you're quite literally just infiltrating a cool museum, like after hours, which is very cool. It's kind of bland, but then you go inside to this magical place. You go inside paintings, very, very cool. Camera changes. And then after that, you go into this kind of like old school JRPG thing with like the static backgrounds. And that is very awesome. So there's like a lot going on here. The colors are beautiful. It's a museum. A lot of very beautiful art everywhere. Yeah, again, the music is it's just solid across all of them. So we're not even going to talk about that. But I really liked the museum quite a bit. I thought it was unique. I thought it was a very cool follow-up to a castle. All right, I'm trying to remember the order. I think next was Kaneshiro, the bank, if I recall correctly. Man, this was such an interesting place, a bank in the sky, but it has a sort of a traditional and then non-traditional approach to it. It's a bank heist, right? You got the bank part of it, you got the security guards. Very cool, elevators, coded doors, and all that. But then you get like it just felt like it was cool because you're going further and further into the security system, which fits the whole theme. But then when you get to that second phase of like this master lock puzzle, that was very unique as well. So again, it's just all these palaces are amazing. I think they all honestly should be like S, but I was like, you know what? I think I do like some more than others, but great. Loved the bank with Kaneshiro. Who was after that? That was that Futaba after that? Yeah, I think that was the pyramid. Okay, so we're gonna go a little out of order here, but the Futaba's pretty sure that was the next one. I love this place. Very interesting, right? We got this tiny outdoor area, but it's got a unique like separate town outside, even though it's like a little square. I still respect it for that. It was this little outside town, it had something different, even though you have never had a reason to go back there. But the whole tomb aesthetic, the high ceilings, the big long staircase with branching areas left and right, the puzzles you do, I loved it. And there's a lot of hints at the how Futaba was feeling, right? There was like the chamber of emptiness. I looked it up. It was a chamber of rejection, chamber of guilt, just words of that kind. So I really liked it. Of course, the song, the aesthetic too, the gold, the greens, very, very, very cool with the whole hacker thing. They just did such a good job, dude. I love the palaces. Probably one of my favorite parts of the entire game. After that was... Damn. Was it a Kumara or was it Sai? I think it was a Kumara. So the warehouse. Yeah, pretty sure. I like this place. It was different. It's very, very different. The music's totally different, right? Big, big change. Love the colors, the blue, black, all the electronic stuff, the warehouse feel. But I think that was the point, right? Like the whole point of a warehouse job is this kind of mundane, same aesthetic, kind of mindless. And of course, this also goes into that second area where it's like assembly line, belts, the lunch thing. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but yeah, I liked it. I wish I could say more. I really enjoyed it. The whole space thing was really, really neat too. I didn't think that was going to be touched upon, but it makes total sense with this, the whole spaceport thing. After that, we have the casino. Yeah, the casino. This one is amazing. I love the whole colorful explosion, but also it's the beginning of the game. So we have the aha moment of like the Pulp Fiction or the Reservoir Dogs. We're like, oh, we're at the beginning, So once I recognized that was a thing, I looked forward to it so much. And then it's a casino. What's not to love? You got the games, you got the cards flowing everywhere, the multi-layer elevator. You got this one section with the back rooms where you can see all the security cameras. I liked it. And what kind of felt like towards the end, felt like the a little mini game section with the maze and the fight section, and of course the boss fight, which we'll talk about later. Awesome. The whole thing was just great, and it starts the beginning of one of the major twists of the game. So the casino was amazing. After that would have been what I assume is the last palace in the base game. So Shido's cruise, very well for me. I've always been a fan of moving backgrounds. It reminds me of older like Sega games with like the parallax scrolling. So seeing like a ship that were actually moving, I really really enjoyed that. You can see, home just kind of passing us by. I love the evening time and this whole game. This whole palace pretty much takes place in the evening. A great song too. Again, I don't want to bring up songs, but great song because it's a callback. The the mice section was kind of funny. I just like that there was a lot to do because when I think of a cruise, I don't know. It feels like there's not much that you could do there. Like you got to get pretty imaginative, but they managed to, turn each kind of section of the cruise ship into something pretty memorable, and I really like that. Plus everything that takes place here, sub boss, great. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great. I felt I would have been very satisfied if I played the base game and that was the finale, or the last. Well, I don't know if I guess you can count Mementos, but I didn't put that here. But I don't know. I've always been fascinated by cruise ships. I never want to go on one, but I kind of like the idea. So, and then finally, the lab, Maruki's lab. This place confused me at first because I didn't know it was a lab. I thought it was like a college. I don't even know what to call it. It just felt like a campus, you know. But it's very interesting because this place is supposed to be sort of like paradise, but it's also kind of creepy, story-wise, which we'll talk about a little later. Everything is white and bright and feels safe, for the most part. Especially again with the music kind of like taking over this calm feeling. And then it goes into that second half of like this sort of, biblical sense with, to me, one of the worst parts of the whole game, which was that Twilight Corridor maze. I hated that damn thing. I liked the beginning part of it, but the second part was horrible. And then, climbing up the tree and to the end. Like it was just, honestly, dude, like the palace is 10 out of 10. What a great, I wish there was more of them. I would not be opposed to more personas with the same kind of idea that 5 had and just keep giving us more antagonists and more palaces. So, yeah, I really wish I could put them all in S, but they're all good and there's no bad ones. I truly believe there's no bad palaces in this game. Last ranking is going to be the boss fights. Not every boss, so you can see here I don't have Jose, the Reaper, or Lavenza. Even though I fought the Reaper, I don't know, whatever. These are just like the main story ones. So from bottom to top, Okumura, that fight, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I don't like being timed. I don't like that sense of urgency. I just don't. I think the time was the biggest factor. It made me feel like I kept doing stuff wrong. I was like, oh, wait, am I supposed to kill Haru? Am I supposed to do this or that? I don't know. It's definitely a skill check because you're supposed to, have this optimal way of playing so we get rid of all these, like, cronies. But I don't know. It just, the time aspect just stressed me out. So if I had to choose the worst, I think that was the worst. After that, the Wakaba fight is... I don't even want to say it's like that bad. It just felt kind of odd to me. Let's just say it's odd. This is an odd tier. I'm gonna actually throw designs in here too. I do actually like Okumura's like Buzz Lightyear kind of look, so he'll get some points for that. Wakaba's like Sphinx thing, I thought that was so lame because it's like a Sphinx body and then it's just her human head. There's no like theme up here. It looks really awkward. They could have just, gone with the whole theme of that. So I don't know. It looks very awkward. I didn't mind the whole flying thing because she does come down and you can, do physical hits when she's like knocked out. There's a lot of talking in this fight, so it's a lot less action and more like a story piece, which is cool. I don't mind it. It's just I don't know. It's just not my favorite boss fight, and that's pretty much that. Kaneshiro, the bank thing. First of all, his design, I do not like his boss design. I was hoping they just I don't know, you know. I was hoping they did some like for example, we went from Kamoshida's boss design. We'll talk about that to Madarame, and then to get a fly afterwards. I was like, okay. And then he was doing all this like rapper stuff, which came out of nowhere because he wasn't talking like that the whole game. So I don't know where that came from. The boss itself with the pig was okay, I guess. I didn't mind it. Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's that bad. It's just odd. I would say the yellow tier is odd tier. But the fly, I guess, is to make him seem like he's just this dirty insect. But I don't know. Lame. After that is Madarame. I guess we can call this like pretty good. I thought it was unique. You know, the painted faces thing. That was all right. But I kind of like the second part better with all the elements and just the multiple copies of him. I thought that was very cool because the whole theme is plagiarism and copying. And here he has just a bunch of copies of himself. So I thought that was kind of, a little meta. But by the way, all these, I'm taking into account the way it looked too. Like the whole experience of the boss. Madarame looks cool. I love the way he looks as a boss. But also the background, the sky's all messed up, of course. But also it looks like we're still at the museum. So it's a really cool set piece. Very, very cool. Yeah, so I counted all that. The way the boss looks, the set piece, and the fight itself. So the only thing Akumura's got for him is his outfit. I kind of didn't mind the space setting. It was just a fight. But yeah, but Madarame is cool. I like that one a lot. It was a very cool second fight. After that, we have Jaldabaoth, who I believe was the final boss at some point. This is a very epic feel. Like, first of all, we're in the sky. Doesn't get much better than that as a set piece. I love the sky. I love fighting in the sky, so it's cool. Interesting side note, because a lot of these, not every boss has their own song, right? A lot of it is like, I think, oh god, is it like Blooming Villain? And I don't know, it's not everyone just has a unique song. Jaldabaoth does. And that song, I've said before, that is not one of my favorite songs in the game. It's one of my worst. But only the intro. I actually really like, what's it called? It's just called Jaldabaoth. But I remember when I reacted to that song, I was like, oh, like the intro just bugged me. But I love the rest of it. I love the chorus. Da, da, da. But yeah, it just for some reason it didn't match to me. This epic scale, this huge boss, and just to hear like da 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 da, it kind of made it seem not so serious. Could just be me. If you didn't notice, I pay attention a lot to music, so some people don't even care about that stuff. But I do like the fight. I like that you can't just AoE everything; it heals itself. You have to be strategic with it. Good fight. Good fight. Great ending afterwards. One of the coolest things ever with the Sai Nijima. This was, I would say, you know what? I didn't think about this until right now as I'm talking. This might be, okay, I don't know what the hardest fight is. Not counting like Reaper, Jose, or whatever. I think like just story fights. I think her fight is like, for sure, top 3 of the hardest. I don't know who's the hardest. Maybe it is her. I don't know. I have to think about that. But her fight definitely brought some difficulty into it, because not only do we have the roulette wheel, but the character that was fighting for her was like just kicking our ass. And admittedly, Persona 5 is not that hard. It's especially compared to SMT. It's quite simple. I played it on normal, but I'm pretty sure I could have done just as fine on hard. I played SMT on hard. But that character just like, I don't know, he felt like a huge difficulty spike. It took me a couple tries. I think maybe like 2 or 3, maybe more. I don't know. But I loved everything about it, the roulette wheel, all of that. So of course, that she looks great. I loved the whole thing, the cards and the hat. Great, 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 great fight. Kamoshida has such a crazy design, and I think that's what it comes down to. It's a memorable design. It's perversion incarnate. Tongue out, wine, characters in bikinis, just shows all of his shit at once. You know, he's mentally or verbally abusing people during the fight. It just shows his whole true like his being, how he sees himself, keeps the crown on. He's like drunk with power. Honestly, it's gross, but it does the job. It does the job. They did such a great job with Kamoshida. For as horrible as he is, there's a reason why he's horrible, and that's because of the writers. You know, the writers, the artists, they did the job to introduce you this world of Persona 5. And man, I just remember just hating this guy with a passion. But great boss, one of those few bosses. Oh, also like Sai Nijima, where you can do like this sort of side thing with take a character out for a little bit. That was kind of cool. So big points for that. Akechi. Akechi, I just liked. There was a lot of things going for it, right? Story wise, like incredible, but also that was after a whole bunch of fights. Before Akechi, there's a lot of fighting going on. Luckily, I did it on my first try, but I could definitely see people here struggling because you don't get a chance to save or do anything for a very long time. It felt, I don't know how long it took me, but it felt like a 45-minute to an hour long fight of constant fights. So getting to Akechi, you really feel that kind of like tense, like, oh, I gotta beat him. But I'm like, wait, what's he doing here? And then I was like, oh wait, hold on, what's going on? And then the whole story segment changes here. Like this is a big turning point for Akechi, but also I heard that his confidant stuff changes here. I don't know that exactly. There's stuff I haven't seen. I regret to tell you, I did not rank him up to rank 10. Remember, I did not like this character. I had him at like rank 4 or something. So there's stuff I didn't see, but I've been told that it changes a little bit depending on his rank there, which that sounds interesting, but I love the fight. And my two favorite fights are the two bosses. Fighting Shido was great pacing, like he makes you feel underpowered, but it also feels like it's never going to end, but it's not too long either. And the way the song just keeps progressing too. And that song is like such a history. Like I love that song. That was the third song I heard in Persona, and I just remember it like it was yesterday because it was so requested at that time, and I was still in my original apartment. I just remember Rivers in the Desert like it was yesterday. But seeing Shido and how he thinks of what people are and makes constructions out of them, multiple constructions out of them. Awesome. And then the one-on-one fight, it just really makes you feel like, for as much as I don't really care about Joker being so bland, because it's just you really feel like his hatred here because he's the one who started all this. Great set piece, looks incredible. You can see the sky moving, of course, or we are moving. I just love that fight. It's so good. It's so good. And all of his changes. The Maruki fight, I want to say one thing here, and it's more of a, I don't know if it's an apology, but I'm aware this was a thing, okay? I didn't understand fully the baton pass until this fight because you need to do it in this fight. I thought I kind of understood the baton pass, but I didn't, apparently. So who knows how many times during the game I could have been like overpowered. But that's the thing though. This game is easy enough that you don't really need a baton pass. So after fighting him for so long, I realized I'm like, oh my God, I have not been doing this correctly the whole playthrough. I wonder how many times People were like screaming, like, "Oh no, he's not doing it right." But that's that's the joys of first playthrough. You can look back on it like now and be like, "Oh yeah, that was funny," even though it's probably frustrating. But yeah, I did not truly understand baton passes until this fight. You can see me have the light bulb moment at the very end of the game. Great song, great fight. I love the emotion behind it. This has a very powerful feeling to the boss fight. It feels like more than just, oh, it's our last bad guy. Is he a bad guy? Like we're fighting arguably one of the nicest people. Like how do we feel about that? So the emotions are high, and then the constant changes, the emotions just get more and more, and then the one-on-one duel at the end. It's I hate using this word because it's so played out now, but it really is no meme cinema. It's shot perfectly. It's great. It's great. It's awesome. I love the whole roller coaster of emotion, the shot with Joker, everything. I love that fight because there's times where, although even though it's scripted and it gets easier when it gets bigger, you don't know that during. You're just like, oh, you're panicking. So they did an amazing job with these the boss fights. So yeah, next I'm going to talk about my favorite songs, not in order, and then after that we'll talk about just the game in general, and then that's it. All right, so I want to talk about this section because, well, I think it would be silly to not talk about Persona, not talk about the music. Obviously, hopefully, most of you know that my main thing is music. That is my favorite thing in the world. That is how I discovered this game. I would have never heard of Persona if it wasn't for its soundtrack. That is how I get into any game. So we have to talk about it. It's a very big thing for me. I may not always catch every single motif or something because there's a lot of songs in this game. So I tried my best. But if you notice in my playthroughs, I always try my best to pay attention to the songs because that's what I notice as a person first. I hear those changes. I hear those things. Maybe not 100% of the time, but I try. Speaking of which, I guess I can throw this in here now. I'm planning on making 2 extra videos for Persona 5. My first time announcing them. If you go on my main page, Jesse's Auditorium, on the homepage, you'll see a sub-series called Game Leitmotifs. And I actually did one for SMT5. I'm going to do a video for Persona 5, the same as those. Although, I don't know if I'm waiting for Strikers or if I should update it once Strikers is finished. But expect that sometime. I don't know when. But I'm going to try to gather I'm going to do a video of leitmotifs for Persona 5 Royal. And also, similar to my SMT video on my guitar channel, where I do a medley of songs, I'm also going to be doing a medley of guitar covers for Persona 5. So there's still more content to come on other channels. Anyways, so the music is a big deal for me. I think this is one of the best soundtracks ever made. It's a soundtrack that goes beyond video games. You can show this to just about anyone in the real world, and most likely they would like it. It's got a little bit of everything, and that's what's so important to me. Variety. You got your metal stuff, your dancing stuff, disco stuff, funk, lo-fi, whatever. It's here. And I can't praise the soundtrack enough. There's a reason people talk about it. It's incredible. Shoji Meguro does such an incredible job. Lin does such an amazing job as the voice of the game, and the other composers too that contributed. Honestly, amazing stuff. It's some of the most hummable and catchy and just great things. It's so consistent. Even the Striker stuff I've heard, the Phantom X stuff I've heard. If you've never heard any Persona 5 Phantom X, the mobile game, please, it's on par with this. Seriously. So I just love how music is such a big part of this game. It's everywhere. It's drenched. Anyways, my favorite song in the game. Let's talk about that. And then everything else, honestly, it's just like second place. There's really no order after that. My favorite song in the game, which was also my favorite part of the game, Sunset Bridge, which plays. I should have got the definition from the Thieves' Den, because you know how the Thieves' Den gives you a little description of where each song plays. I could just tell you from memory that it plays during, like, mostly you hear it in Mementos after you beat a character in Mementos. After their little sob story and they come to, Sunset Bridge plays there. But it also plays sporadically throughout the game during character moments of growth and really, seemingly important moments of their story. It's not always used. I think the first time you ever hear this song is in the Big Bang Diner when you meet On, and she's like crying to you. I'm pretty sure it's the first time you hear it, and that's also a significant moment, right? But the most amazing moment to me, where I'm so glad it was used, it's your final day, the day you go home when you have to go say hi to or goodbye to everybody, and you're walking around trying to talk to every NPC possible. This song is playing the entire time. I love Sunset Bridge. To me, again, my opinion, to me, it just encapsulates the entire spirit of Persona 5. Yes, I'm aware a lot of Persona 5 is dancing and vocal stuff, but to me, this just has the spirit of Persona 5. I can't explain it besides that. It is the memory that I'm always going to attach to this game. Every time I hear those first couple of beats, I'm going to see the pyramid, I'm going to see the twins, I'm going to see Igor, I'm going to see Kamoshida. I'm going to see it just all going to come back to me as soon as I hear those chords and those beats. So I love it. It's such a small instrumental too. And I never reacted to it. So it was organically heard in the game. I love Sunset Bridge. So after that, I can give off really strong contenders. Honestly, there's most likely stuff here that I just didn't list because there's so many songs. These are just the ones that I just kind of skimmed through, but these to me are all like second place, and that is When Mother Was There. I don't know where every single one of these play, but I'll try to remind you if you don't know. When Mother Was There was the main theme of Futaba's Palace. Love that song. Freedom and Peace. I know it's one of the credit themes for like a bad ending, but it also plays somewhere else. Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of these songs play in different locations, but some of you may know better than I. Beneath the Mask, of course, the main like home world of your character. You hear it all the time. Vocals kick in a couple months into the game. Multiple versions depending if it's raining or not. I love this song so much. So much. It's one of the songs that actually got me into playing the game. Keep Your Faith / Throw Away Your Mask. Same song. One's instrumental, one's vocals. That's I'm like 90% sure this is the fight with Maruki. Or right before it. Either way, it's royal content. And I love this song. I just love the way it sounds. The emotion. It's one of the songs that just has like this emotion behind it that is not in many songs. Very cool chord progression. It gives it a very like somber feel. No More What Ifs. Both the Jazz Club version and the Thieves' Den version. Same song. Gentle Madman. Aria of the Soul. The Velvet Room song. Willpower. That's when every character turns into the persona for the first time. Last Surprise, battle theme. What was it? No, that's the battle. That was the original battle theme. The one where where the enemies see you first, but I think was the default, if I recall correctly. Tokyo Daylight and Tokyo Emergency. Those are two songs that play in the overworld. Confession / Secret. Amazing bluesy song. This happens during a lot of dialogue. As soon as you hear it, you'll be like, oh, that one. Yeah. I love that song. It's very easy to play too. Layer Cake. That was EY's theme, the gun shop. Amazing. Just Blooming Villain, one of the kind of quintessential boss themes. Da 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 da. Endless Days. Can't remember right now where it plays. Hold on. Let me actually take a 2-second break to see where this plays. Okay, yeah. It's the crossword puzzle theme. I couldn't tell if that was late game or not. You hear this in like when you're doing activities, but actually I don't know. Is it crossword only? Or does it play other places too? It definitely plays in crossword only. Maybe the batting cages? I don't remember, but definitely crossword. Butterfly Kiss, it's the Takemi Clinic song, incredible. Have a Short Rest. Oh, I love this song. Do 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 do. Safe Room of Every Palace. Love that song. Easy, simple, but so good. Price, the bank theme, incredible. Rivers in the Desert, duh. Gosh, what a song, dude. Life Goes On. That plays during, is it exams? It's that bassy one when you're in the classroom. Alley Cat, incredible song. New Beginning, The Whims of Fate, and Our Beginning. Those are all the ones I wrote down, but there's so many. I will even go as far as to say every single song, this is not a cop-out, every single song is amazing. Even Gel to Both. It may not be my favorite, but it still has that cool section. Da, da, da. I really do like every song in this game. But those are the ones that really stood out to me. Let me know your favorites. After that, I wrote down a couple of my favorite activities. I don't know why. Mostly there was the ones you can like interact with more. So, in no order: crossword puzzles, batting cages, fishing, the video games that you can play, which is cool because they have their own song and their own level advancement. That was really nice. And the darts, I thought that was very fun. Last thing before I start talking about the game itself and my overall thoughts, some bad stuff I didn't like. I had a hard time coming up with some of these. I only wrote down like 3 things, and they're kind of small. So I'm actually going to ask for help. If I said anything else during my playthrough, please remind me, because I can't think of many bad. There's a difference between like nitpicks and then just bad. So for me, bad number 1 was the Twilight Corridor. I'm not gonna like knock points off of it, but it just still bugged me. It's the last puzzle before you fight Maruki, that like color puzzle in the sky. That shit was confusing, dude. I did not like doing that at all. I hated it. It stopped the pace, and I just didn't like it. Skill issue. This is more of a nitpick, but I wish there was more activities that didn't progress time, like the crossword puzzle. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if there was any other ones besides the crossword puzzle. That would have been nice. There probably is. I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, like everything, because time is everything in this game. So, yeah, it would have been nice to just have just a couple more things that just didn't advance time, This is my actual, like, to me, the bad that I can think of. And you might think this is a hot take. I definitely was vocal about it in the game, but the whole dating aspect, I didn't care for that at all. I thought it like almost diminished the story. If it's, I don't know. Okay, here's my feeling about it. I could see how some people would really like it because this game caters to you. You can play however you want. You can choose. You know who your favorite character is going to be, and maybe you do have like an attraction to a character, and maybe you do want to date them and live and play the video game you want. Maybe you want to take, XYZ on whatever date you want, or you want to spend your time however you want. That's cool. That's cool. Right? You're not tied to anything, but at the same time, it feels silly. None of it felt real. It just felt like, especially the fact that you can date multiple characters, which is, that's its own subject. It's kind of taboo. I did it for, I just did. So regarding my dating choices, if you guys want to know who my true like dating choice was, if I had to choose, it was Yoshizawa. Just it made the most sense to me. That seemed like where the story was going, and she was like the sweetest and the nicest, and maybe Makoto after that. Anything else, if I dated them at that point, this is before I knew the trophy system. I thought that was going to be required. And I was halfway correct. It's only required for completion of the Thieves' Den, which I didn't care about so much. The Thieves' Den is not required for the Platinum Trophy. So once I found that out, I stopped caring. I stopped dating, and I stopped, it did give me a funny scene at the end of the game where they're all there and like yelling at you. That was funny. But honestly, to me, like, which is ironic because I thought the whole game was about this. Before I knew what Persona was, I just thought it was a dating simulator. I don't know where I heard that or read that, but I thought it was that. And funny enough, it's the part that I just didn't care for. I don't even know if I call it bad. I just didn't care for it because it just felt so completely optional. It doesn't change anything. Like, for example, like, maybe some of you won't agree with this, but like you can date on. That seems really weird to me. There's nowhere in the entire game where they flirt or anything. If anything, that should have been Ryuji's girl. But just the fact that like that can happen just out of nowhere, it feels really weird. It makes Joker kind of feel like a slut. Also, the fact that you can date Futaba is kind of odd. So it's just. Oh, and I've heard people, which I agree, people that saying that you can't even date the guys. There's no Yusuke, there's no Akechi, So I don't know. It just felt like such a silly thing. I don't know if it's normal in Persona. Maybe this is like just a thing they do in each game. But yeah, I would say, but that says a lot about the game. If the worst part for me is this completely optional thing that you don't have to do, then that's cool. Because my next playthrough, I'm just not dating anybody. I don't even know if that's possible. But yeah, I just didn't care for that at all. Other than that, I don't know if there was any other bads. The game ran perfectly. There was no glitches. I like the mementos thing regenerating. Apparently, that's like an old callback to older SMT games. Yeah, unless I said something else in the playthrough that I don't remember right now. Like maybe the SP being kind of so stingy. It's like that in SMT5 as well. But I don't know. Game was great, dude. There was like so little flaws with it. But let's talk about my overall thoughts and just like how I felt about Persona 5 as a whole. All right. So like the whole video, if you haven't paid attention, this is not scripted. I'm just kind of going off the cusp, but it's been 2 months. But this game is very special for many reasons. I'm glad that it actually got so much attention. It's considered the best Persona by many people. Of course, that's subjective. I haven't played the other two I haven't played 3 and 4 yet. But I would say that this is. It seems very obvious that Persona 5 is like the Final Fantasy 7 of the series. It is the one that people are going to say it's overrated or whatever, but it's clearly like the one that sent it to the stratosphere as far as popularity, and I can see that. I do not regret it being my first Persona. I'm glad I did because it's a strong start, And it's a game that I've never played a game like this. I come from a background of kind of random games like Tony Hawk or maybe like NFL Blitz or something. Not sports games per se, but just games that just didn't really care about storylines. And definitely no RPGs. That wasn't a thing until a couple years ago. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water. I'm talking too much. So the whole game is a very unique experience, even to SMT. Mind you, I got into Persona 5 not only as a bonus for my audience getting me to 100K, but because of my strong first impression with Atlas in SMT5 Vengeance. two games that are they're so similar yet they're so different. The demons are the same, but everything else is so different. That game is all about fighting, staying alive, and just way more violent and definitely more difficult. Whereas this game, fighting takes a backseat. It's all story and more cartoonish and a little more fantasy like. Well, no, I don't say fantasy like because SMT is very fantasy like. It felt more like digestible to like the casual audience, you know. Where SMT feels like Pokemon, this just feels like its own kind of thing with the calendar system. I never played a game like that where I needed to manage my time. Also, I should say, I haven't mentioned this anywhere, but this game actually, I don't know if anyone else felt like this, but it kind of inspired me to manage my time better. I'm not joking about that. Long story short, I've been doing content creation for 5 years, and it's comes with what I call dangerous freedom. This might sound kind of crazy to you, but unless you've been in my shoes, you won't understand. Because everyone wants the lifestyle of like being your own boss, but you truly don't know how odd that can be when you have so much time to yourself. When do you sleep? When do you do whatever? You have to force schedules and stuff like that. So for the longest time, I had a shit sleep cycle, just very bad, unhealthy way of living. Happy, but just very sloppy with anything. Honestly, playing this game, I was like, I kind of like this whole I kind of missed schedules a little bit. Maybe not clocking in, but because of this game, I actually strived to fix my sleep cycle, which seems like such a small thing. But without that, you can't do anything else. So without knowing what time you're going to go to bed and wake up, you really cannot plan your entire day. So I can have like a block for work, for editing, for physical activity, for rest, all that. It's nice, and this game kind of kicked that off. So I've been actually pretty good since the game. I wake up at a certain time every day in the morning, not just random times. So that's a big thing that might go over people's heads. But so this game is I don't know how I feel about this game as far as besides liking it. And but what I mean by that is like being a part of Persona means now I have to hear about not that I don't want to hear people's opinions, but there's times where I don't want to hear people's opinions. Because and what I mean by that is like I'm on the content creation side, so I receive all the differing opinions, whereas you, the viewer, you might just come across someone's opinion by reading on a forum or a chat, but they're not coming at you. Do you understand? Like you have your opinion of the game, and you might see some others in like a review or something, but they're not constantly coming at you with their experience. So I've heard a lot of weird stuff with this game, and I've noticed what the Persona 5 community is, which is warranted with a game like this. It is a very story-heavy game with a lot of controversial topics that don't really get talked about. Like, for example, I'm sure people already clicked off this video when I said that I don't think everyone should be alive. Not everyone deserves life. And I stand by that. So, to me, there's just some things that are just not, like, negotiable when it comes to, like, treating people with respect and, that kind of thing. And in a world where everything's so crazy every day and what we see around us, this game makes you think a lot. And it kind of honestly shows me some colors of people that I don't want to see because, just this, have an extreme example here, which doesn't happen often. But let's just say someone randomly would say, I agree with everything Kamoshida said. I would hope most normal people would think that is the most asinine, crazy shit you've ever heard. And you probably don't want to deal with them ever again. It's very concerning, actually. That kind of thing. I would hope so. But with a game like this that's so polarizing, there might be. There might be people like that. And because of that, again, you're going to hear some crazy shit with the opinions. And the way I've approached it is being on the content creator side. I have to think about this very thing. For example, I'm not going to name names, but this is a real thing that happened. And it made me think about stuff. Because again, everyone who plays this game, you attach it to your own experiences in your life. Most likely, you're going to relate to it at some point. You probably like another character better because you relate to them. Or there's someone here that reminds you of someone you don't want to be reminded of. Let's get straight to the main ending of the game, which is I consider Royal to be the full experience. Even though I didn't play the vanilla game, sorry, not sorry, I just feel like Royal is the complete package. I feel like everything leads up to Royal naturally. This is my opinion. But that feeling of choosing between like well, first of all, let me go back 1 second. Having that be the final boss is so interesting because as a kid, or for your casual gamer, bad guy is bad, take him down. But as you get older, at least for me, I started to see what bad guys would say before necessarily just thinking of, thinking they're bad right away. I was thinking, well, why do they turn bad? Or what do they have to say? That kind of thing. This game took that to 10. The bad ultimate boss in this game is someone who just wants the best for people. Now, you would ask, what's so bad about that? But then and then it comes down to like religious topics and all this other stuff about life that's so, tricky to talk about. Do we want to live in an ideal world? Or do we want the natural flow of the world to take its course? And this is where it gets interesting, because for me, everything I did in this game was like a gut instinct, what my natural Jesse self would do. And to me, not you, to me, an ideal world, where everything is just fine and dandy. It sounds a little, I don't know, maybe it's like the slight pessimist in me, which I'm not, but the little that I am, I feel like, what's the catch? Or for how long? Is it a permanent thing, or is it cool now, but then everything else is susceptible to getting shittier later? Like, okay, maybe we bring back this person from being deceased, but then what? So there's that. But also, it's like, I feel like something would just be very off if we took it from its natural course, whatever that may be. I see both sides, and for the first time, really, even though I made my choice easily, I still thought about both choices with Maruki. Because I was like, damn, he made this world based on what he was just listening to us. And what is something that almost everyone here wishes they had? Someone to listen to them. That's all he did, He took those words and made a reality out of it. So essentially, that's all well and good, right? But to me, I just couldn't help but feel like something was wrong if I did that. But I could definitely see why people would pick that. And I'm not going to say that they're wrong for that. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Again, these are my thoughts. So now you have to think about all the other millions of players that played this game and put yourself in their position, right? Not a lot of games can do this. So whatever your life is, take yourself out of the equation. Your experiences, your biases, that's all gone now. Now put it in the position of someone who maybe they grew up without legs. Maybe they've been severely abused of any kind. Maybe, you know what I mean? Whatever the case is, whether they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, no problems, no relationship issues, broken home, you got to think about it from that perspective as well. Well, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But you see how like the Maruki thing is like, oh, maybe I don't want to feel pain anymore. Maybe I you know what I mean? I consider myself very fortunate that I don't have any like medical issues. I don't have any medications. I'm relatively healthy besides being like a little overweight. I'm okay, you know? I know there's people out there that are suffering and it's all around us. It's everywhere, you know? And I know a lot of people play video games to cope with that. So, and this game is putting it in your face. You usually play video games to get away from stuff. And this is like, so I empathize with these people because I don't know what they're going through. And I think for all these reasons, that also makes this game above a lot of other games and one of the best games I've ever played because of all these things. Not because what you chose is right or what someone else chose is wrong. People have to realize that you're not the main character. Well, I guess in this game you kind of are, but in general in life, you're not. I hate to break it to you, but like you're kind of nobody, you know? Even me. You're a speck of dust in this rotating wet ball in space. You really have to see it kind of from like the outside in. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me here. This is a very, like, it's like a debatable thing, but all of our problems, we're only here for a little while and then we die, So it's like how you spend that time or what or how you're able to spend that time, whether your choice or not, like example, being born with a defect or whatever the case may be. Or not even another thing, grief. Grief is a big thing in this game, which is touched upon, right? A couple parents are gone in this game. That's a thing, I even thought of that as well because I know that there's someone here watching that would love to have their loved one back. I lost my dad 2 years ago, and I thought about what would that be like as well. But not to, get super personal. I just didn't really get along with him. So, even I was like, well, this is the natural course of things. And this is just the way life has gone. So my experience is going to be completely different from yours. There might be some similarities, but I think the true beauty in Persona 5, at least, is that it's really going to come down to whoever plays it and whatever, that's why when I would receive a comment like, oh, you didn't like Yusuke or something, well, this playthrough sucks. I didn't want you to watch it to begin with. I don't want viewers like that. You guys have to realize something. Just how you're, the viewer, are open to choose whoever content creator you want to watch, whatever, not just content, movies, TVs, whatever. You have the choice of watching all that. Just the same way you want to choose that, I can choose not to want you to view my stuff as well. That might sound crazy because everyone wants to grow numbers and all that. I don't care about that stuff. It's cool. And it's a nice acknowledgement of my hard work. But like, I think if you honestly think that way, of like, if a creator is not doing what you want in Persona, I promise you they don't want you to watch either. You're like, not the kind of viewer that someone wants to, because they just want their mold to be repeated. And that says a lot about them. Some of you may not agree or not understand what I'm saying, but you have to put yourself in my position now. As a creator, imagine, just for a moment, just take 20 seconds every day. Imagine whatever you do, however you play a game, but now thousands of people are watching it, and they're going to have something to say about it. You're going to be like, I don't care. This is the way I play, whatever. But imagine if there's like, want you to do what they want. It's like, get out of here. Like, you're here to watch me be a human, make mistakes, have differing opinions, change my opinions, And I really hope that those are the people that like stick around and watch because, frankly, I think it's very concerning if you want to be in an echo chamber, because the world doesn't work that way. I'm sorry to say. So everything I'm saying now is what this game does to me internally. Like, it's how I feel in my heart with this game. It's very special for that reason. And I think hopefully that's why people wanted to watch me play it. If I want to see someone play this game, I want them to go through those motions as well and to find out what they want to say at the end of it. Because it's very easy to say like, oh, this game has great music, cool story, cool mechanics, and call it a day. But it's so much more than that. I think this is one of the best games I'm ever going to play in my entire life because it made me feel things I never felt in my entire life. It's more than a video game. It's something that is very relatable and has something for everyone. At the end of the day, you guys have to remember that every person in this game, for the most part, is a kid. We were all in high school, and I promise you were not your best self in high school. You were probably a moron. You didn't know what was going on. So, I've heard theories that the Phantom Thieves were the villains the whole time. Manipulating the world to think how they think. That sounds right on par with what a teenager would do. So, you really can't be a hypocrite when it comes to this game because odds are when you were in high school or first year of college or whatever, what would you do with this power of changing people's hearts, This game basically is like no right or wrong. It's just kind of testing you on your decisions up until now in your life. I'm very curious playing this game like at 50 years old, 30, 18. You know what I mean? If any of you were like me, 30s, you're way different than your teens and you're way different than your 20s. I thought I knew everything. I don't know shit. So it's really curious to see how this game plays out for different age ranges, different parts of life, different experiences, handicapped people that are normal and fine and no problems, people that have anxiety, whatever, you know what I mean? Sorry if I like triggered anything or I'm just saying this is what this game is that powerful. It's real human stuff. I'm glad it's rated M. I'm glad it touches upon stuff like abuse that needs to be talked about. And I'm glad that there's some accountability because in the real world, there isn't accountability sometimes. And it's really frustrating to watch bad people succeed and thrive and not lose their jobs or whatever. So it's nice to see some accountability. So yeah, I'm very opinionated when it comes to this. And I don't know if I left out anything. Like I said, it has been 2 months since I played, but it still left a mark on me. I love this game. I really do. Despite those little nitpicks, whatever, this game is still like nearly perfect for me. I don't think I forgot anything. If I did, leave it in the comments. I'll leave the comments open and we can talk. Whatever you have to say, opinion-wise, I'll listen. I don't think any opinions are wrong. But like I said at the very beginning of the video, if your response to opinions that aren't yours is to attack and to get defensive, maybe reconsider what you say, because it's not an echo chamber. I really want to know your experience with this game, even if you're scared to like how it might come off. You know what I mean? Here, I'll even do you one better. If you don't want to publicly comment how you felt about this game and you want to just tell me directly, this is the only time I'll let this happen, but my main page, my Jesse's Auditorium email, which is just jessesauditorium@gmail.com, you can just email me there, which I would never do, ever, because whatever. But some people don't want to see their stuff in the world. I understand. I've yapped a lot. I love this game. Even the bad characters are good. The writing is phenomenal. Thieves' Den is great. Music, locations, activities. I can't wait to explore more. And because of this game, I will see you in Strikers. I will see you in 3. I will see you in 4. I will see you in Metaphor ReFantazio. I will see you in Raidu. Good times. I'm going to miss this game. And yeah, I really hope that it also touched and changed a lot of you, because I feel like if you just played this game and just rolled credits and thought it was like a cool UI or something, then you missed the point of the game. I don't know. But hey, whatever. Enjoy the game however you want. Those are my opinions. So, yeah. Don't think I have anything else. Thanks to everyone who introduced me to this game's music, and for those that watched. It's a long playthrough, but I love the game. Played it every day. Good times. Thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to read the comments and your experience with this game and everything that was talked about. See you in the next Atlas game, Strikers, at the end of this year. See you in the next guitar video and leitmotif video later this year. Peace, everyone.